panelists. I'll begin the questions. There is no short-term solution, no policy decision that Congress or the administration can make to win the war and see stability and democracy flourish in Afghanistan in the foreseeable future, and certainly not before 2015. But there are decisions that we can make or not make that would jeopardize our efforts in Afghanistan and risk eliminating the gains we've made during the past 12 years. The first obstacle is ensuring that the bilateral security agreement is finalized and that it includes immunity for U.S. personnel from persecution under Afghan law. The administration has indicated that without this, it would pull out of Afghanistan completely, leaving the zero option on the table. Putting aside the immunity issue, what are the key features the BSA will need to include in order for us to ensure that we're able to maintain the gains made while protecting U.S. troops and personnel? That's number one. Another major obstacle is the size of the residual force in a post-2014 Afghanistan. General, you testified that based on the scope, size, and difficulty of the post-2014 mission, the residual U.S. force should be about 20,000. And Dr. Kagan, you didn't put a number on it, but you testified that the Afghan National Security Forces would not be ready to secure their territory without significant U.S. and international support, which includes military forces. Ms. Curtis, you stated that the U.S. must maintain a robust residual force. We've heard that the administration could set its numbers at less than 10,000, and it was reported that NATO is planning on a smaller residual force than we first thought. What are the dangers of leaving behind a smaller force that has been recommended? Insurgents generate over $100 million a year in illegal drug trade, and that is with troop levels at a much higher number than is currently being floated. How will the reduced numbers impact other operations that are critical to our mission in Afghanistan, like counter-narcotics? And finally, at times, our President has laid out the narrative that al-Qaeda has been decimated and nearly defeated. With so much of a threat still remaining in Afghanistan-Pakistan region, should we underestimate al-Qaeda's strength, and is that belief setting up the U.S. for failure in a post-2014 Afghanistan? Dr. Kagan, we'll start with you quickly.
Thank you. Yes, I think al-Qaeda is not decimated, and actually, if you look at maps as our team has prepared of al-Qaeda area of operations around the world, it controls more territory, has more fighters, and poses a greater threat to the United States today than it ever has. Giving it back its sanctuary in Afghanistan would be a crowning glory for al-Qaeda and would be extremely dangerous for the U.S. Please hear me very carefully, because I don't want to have numbers taken out of context. My personal assessment of the forces required after 2014 to do the missions that are being described is upwards of 30,000. That has not been on the table for a long time. I agree with General Keane that with 20,000 at very high risk and with a great deal of difficulty, it's feasible. When you get down below 10,000, a lot of missions fall off. We will not be doing counter-narcotics. We will not be doing counterinsurgency, and our ability to train, advise, and assist will be extremely limited.
Thank you, Dr. Kagan. General? I agree with Dr. Kagan about al-Qaeda. Sure, punch your button for the mic.
I agree with Dr. Kagan about al-Qaeda. Certainly, it is on the rise, and there's a lot of misunderstanding about. They're not morphing into something else. Their plan was always to decentralize, establish a caliphate in the region by gaining operational and territorial control in the various countries that they want to control, and that is absolutely happening, before our eyes. So let's be clear about it. In terms of size of residual force, it's about the missions that must be performed, which drives the size of the force. And those are counterterrorism, training assistance, and also the enablers that the force requires. The optimum side, I totally agree with Fred, is 30,000. The minimum of that is 20. We can establish arbitrary numbers here, and then what you have eventually, if you get down into the numbers people are talking about, 10,000 and below, you have a residual force in name only that is not capable of performing assigned missions.
Thank you, and I'm sorry for the other two. I know Ms. Curtis and Dr. Biddle were ready, but I'm out of time, and we've got a lot of folks. So we'll get you later. Mr. Deutsch.